Welcome to Lifeness, the podcast that's all about improving your life and business. Join us as we explore the art of communication, personal development, and having a blast along the way. Now prepare to laugh, learn, and level up your lifeness as we introduce our motley crew. First up, the man with the meaty punchlines, the butcher of comedy, Andy Livengood. Next, the guy who could make a fraternity meeting sound like stand-up, Vince Fabra. And last but certainly not least, our very own keynote speaker, comedian extraordinaire, Brian Carter. That's me. Get ready for the Lifeness adventure. And let me start by introducing Andy. Meet Andy Livengood, the man who can slice and dice comedy better than he can a side of beef. He's an improv performer, teacher, and Charleston's crowned butcher of comedy. Get ready for some well-done humor from Andy.
Next in line, we have Vince Fabra, the comedian and keynote speaker who's married, has 2 girls, and knows more about fraternities than he'd like to admit. He's so nice that even his jokes are polite. Vince, the stage is yours.
Thanks, everyone. And last, but absolutely not least, it's the man who's so talented that he saved the best for last himself. He's not just a keynote speaker. He's the keynote speaker. He talks about sales, generations, marketing, leadership, and teamwork. But his real talent is making you snort coffee through your nose with laughter. It's Brian Carter, the man with the plan, the humor, and the lifeness wisdom. Brian, take it away.
I'm taking it so far. I'm going to take it all away.
I think you kissed up to Chat GPT. Your intro seems more professional.
I know, it's funny. It's because on the instructions, I said, here are these guys, and I'm Brian Carter. And I didn't say it, I didn't do that. But what I did was I moved my intro to last because I wanted to be humble. But it made a joke about that by saying, that's freaking crazy, right?
I love it. Yours is like great. Skynet likes you better.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm working on that.
I'm jealous of your relationship with the computers, bro.
You just need to be like me and spend 11 hours one day just trying to teach it to write jokes. I've sunk so much time into that particular thing. But I thought I'd read a list of the stuff that I've used GPT for so far, if you're interested. Some jokes for my redneck character, Roy, that I want to show you later. Some rule of 3 jokes, some Jean Perret formula jokes, weird matching jokes, funny commercial ideas. It can write you an Onion article on any topic. Editing the book I'm working on, custom jokes for a keynote, video outlines. I had a PowerPoint presentation I need to create for a client, and it created the outline for that. I wanted to brainstorm my business strategy for the future, and it helped me do that. I created a LinkedIn messaging sequence, some LinkedIn posts, blog post ideas. I put in some of my existing jokes and had it help me write tags, turning stories and jokes from my keynote into more keynote points and customizing them to each topic. Sales teamwork is workshop outlines and brainstorming new keynote ideas and blurbs. So I'm going to create a page that's about like keynotes for AI, about AI, right? So that's pretty much my personal life for the last month.
You talking to a bunch of servers.
In terms of being a creative person, and I guess this is more like a philosophical question, like, is what Chat GPT creating for you, is that art or is that zeros and ones? Like, how do you feel about the output? Because there's still a human involved. You're still feeding this tool something, and what's coming out the other end has your influence on it. But yeah, what is Brian Carter plus GPT equals what?
A mess that I have to edit, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand it. I know it's a language learning model. I know it works on probability. It can predict what words should come next and how connected different words and concepts are. It's one of those deals where I think they created it and they don't understand it. They understand how they created it, but it's just mind-boggling what it can do. It's a lot like a person because it has a lot of bad ideas and then it occasionally has a flash of brilliance. Yeah, I feel like with writing the jokes, how maybe 5 out of 100 jokes turns out to be funny in front of an audience. And then in the brainstorming phase, maybe 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 50 is funny. So you're going to 0.1% of Chat GPT ideas will make it to actually being funny in real life.
Sure. I wonder if Chat GPT has that awareness that we do. Oh, this one is good. This one that I just came up with is really good. You're going to
I feel like it only knows if it's giving you what you want or trying to give you what you want. I had a whole session where it kept giving me ideas and I'd be like, no, number 1 and number 5 and number 7 are funny, but not the others. What can we learn from that? It seems like we need more of this and this, but it wasn't getting better.
Yeah.
So I still think that like we have to guide it and we have to edit it.
Sure.
But it's fascinating for a nerd like me.
So just thinking out loud here as the Zoom is recording, is that kind of the goal of the podcast, or is that a goal that you have outside of the podcast? If you can use this tool to create material, are you then going to charge people a bunch of money to hear this keynote that AI wrote with you?
It's funny. It's like a smarter Grammarly, right? Should I charge money for a book that has better grammar because I got Grammarly? It's definitely more advanced than that. But again, I feel like I went through a period of excitement and hope, and then like coming back to reality and realizing how it is writing comedy too. You can get super excited about a joke when you write it, but then the next day you're like, this is stupid. So it's some of that too. So I just think it's a tool.
Yeah. Or in most cases, you're mid telling it at the open mic and you're like, oh, it is stupid. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think you can go to however much preparation you want to go through. You write it, you look at it the next day, maybe you video it and you look at that later, or you say it for your wife. And that's never a good thing for me because my wife either laughs at everything or is wrong about what other people are going to like. So, yeah. Yeah. So I just think it's a really amazing tool. As far as the podcast goes, I think we're fascinated with AI right now, but I think the purpose is really to just talk about life and business. Yeah.
Is that a Chat GPT AI generated title?
No.
Or is that's what you we all came up with? But I
think my wife I think Linda came up with it.
I like it.
2 minutes after you're like, my wife doesn't know what's funny, you're like, she came up with this idea.
She does have some good ideas.
Name this podcast.
Yes. She's an amazing lady. Can we go back to your stand-up special?
Yes. You want to talk more about it?
Yeah, I want to ask you about a couple things. I want to ask you about your writing process.
Just real quick. Let's just get the awkwardness out of the way. Andy, I feel like you haven't watched it yet.
I have not watched it yet.
Okay, cool. It's cool.
Only 36 minutes, man, and it's worth it. It's the whole...
Brian came in hard with the compliments, and Andy was noticeably quiet. So I was just
hey,
like, hey, you
I don't
haven't
need to see it
yet.
to know that it's good.
Totally fine that you haven't watched it, but I just don't want this to be an awkward conversation between the three of us.
Yeah, no, Andy was telling me it was horrible. He said he was going to pretend he hadn't seen it.
Yeah, what if you're like, you haven't seen it yet? And I was like, oh no, I saw it.
Oh yeah. No, it was great. Man, my favorite moment, the moment I really laughed out loud hard at was all those scenarios where you're picking up dog poop in the neighbor's yard, but particularly the one where you might be your wife's stalker who's trying to clone a dog just like hers using the poop so that you'll have something to talk about.
Yes.
I love that idea.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, this is, and going back in line with feeding Chat GPT or your friends your joke and then getting a tag idea. That joke really opened up for me when someone was, I think it was Jeremy McClellan or maybe our friend Sam Yakel. They both helped out tremendously, but they were like, what if it's at night? And I was like, it's at night. I'm picturing during the daytime this whole time where I'm pacing my neighbor's yard looking for this sample that my dog left. But if I tell the audience it's at night, I'm sure you're picturing her during the daytime. That made that joke like a C+ to like one of the biggest laughs of the special. Just that one line and telling the audience, I know what you're picturing, but it was actually this. And then that led to the second beat of it, which was like, okay, if a joke is getting a good laugh, keep riding that wave. Then I was like, all right, let's keep writing that joke and see what else comes I was like, what if my wife sent me to go get the sample? Now, what is the best case scenario? In that instance, there is none. I look like my wife's stalker. So it really was getting that one little tag that like popcorn kernel popped the rest of the joke.
Yeah, I love the way your brain works. So Andy, the way he set it up, like he set up basically the dog pooping in the yard, and then he had to go back. He had to go home to get the bags and then go back and pick it up. But then what I'm talking
So
about.
now you're a guy picking up dog poop without a dog.
It's hilariously weird. But then he
It
frames
just looks
it.
like you're an enthusiast.
He frames it like what if he just saw the first part, I'm the worst neighbor ever. What if he saw the second part, I'm the weirdest neighbor ever. Right.
Yeah, I'm the creepiest dude on the block.
Yeah.
That's
See, you would like the special, Andy. Go check it out.
I feel like I got enough of you living 4,000 miles away.
Yeah.
you're too close enough, Vince. Don't come any closer.
No, I do intend to fully watch. I just haven't had a chance yet.
It's so cool. We're already at 92,000 views.
Dude, that's awesome.
9,200.
9,200. I'm sorry.
That was a funny video too. You're like, oh, I got a lot of great compliments from people like Dave Chappelle. Sorry, no, my friend Linda.
My ex-girlfriend
Chappelle
went
High
to
School.
Chappelle.
Yes.
And down in New Orleans, we got all the all girls and all boys high schools, and Chappelle is one of them. So I thought that'll be nice little New Orleans folks.
Yeah, man, you're such a good writer. And so is Andy. I guess we're all amazing.
We're all amazing, dude. You're the freaking, not just a keynote speaker, you're the keynote speaker.
That's so stupid. Yeah.
You are, the real talent is making people snort coffee through their nose with laughter.
Yeah, specifically coffee.
That's such a, that's what a bizarre choice for coffee.
What's fun is you can, because it did it, and then I said make it funnier, and you can do it different levels. I could have made it truly absurd if I wanted to. It's you can play with it. It's fun. Shit, you can be like, hey, write this joke as George Carlin, or write this joke as a combination of Mitch Hedberg and George Carlin. It's nuts.
Any other questions about my special, though?
Yeah, let's just talk about that. This is a 4-hour podcast just talking about this. I actually do. You filmed it in Charleston?
I did film it in Charleston, yes, at Holy City Magic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did Bill Davis do an opener for you, or did he just MC?
Bill Davis was the MC. There's a guy from Savannah on the show. I think his name was Andre. He was very funny. A little dirtier for my taste.
Yeah.
So, because my comedy isn't like dirty. So when you're
You're pretty clean, right?
Yeah, pretty clean. I think I said the F word twice in this 37-minute special. And
Vince.
You did. That was funny. Yeah, that is tough.
When your opener is dirty, like shifts the Overton window, and now you look tame by comparison.
Yeah. But that's normal because you're nice, but you have a ton of personality. Like your personality really comes through in your word choice and I envy that too, because sometimes I'll create too much word economy in my jokes.
Sure.
But you'll have, you just had some, I'm going to go back and watch it and try and, because now I'm in this like creating formulas for joke writing mode in my brain with Chat GPT. So I'm going to go back and list out all the different things you did. Your metaphors are great.
Dude, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, there's you guys know Gary Goldman.
Yeah.
One of the greats. There was a while there, I think, during the pandemic where he was tweeting out like pretty good.
Oh, his advice stuff was amazing.
Yeah. Now he was Xing out or posting out. But back then he was tweeting out some really great.
Yeah, now he's excreting.
Excreting. That's good.
Yeah, excreting is perfect. But yeah, one of them was a Mark Twain quote that was like, the difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between a bolt of lightning and a lightning bug. And so if you can really find the best way to say something, it'll just really charge your set or your joke or your story or whatever. And so I just think that that's so true. And sometimes you can watch it as an audience member when you see another comic say it the best way possible. And you're like, oh, that is the absolute perfect way to express that thing. It's always fun when you feel like you have some of those in the chamber ready to drop. Who's just throwing out these lightning bolts, dude.
Shit, man. We'll get to Andy in a second because we need to talk about Andy more. But
I'm good.
no. But yeah, man, I thought that's a great 36-minute set. It's as funny or funnier than a lot of the stuff that I see out there that's more publicized. So we should spend some money and advertise to people, man. Get some really goose it.
Dude,
Here's a technical question for you, Vince. Why 36 and not try to go for the full hour? Like most specials are generally an hour, yes?
great question. Yeah.
Again, I think this is great. I'm just curious the choice.
Sure. So
Other than like you'd have to write another 20 minutes of material.
Yeah.
So we're recording this podcast in the year 2023. I recorded that special and actually in the year 2019.
No
So
kidding.
This was like a pre-pandemic. I talk about having a 2-year-old and a newborn. Well, now I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. Kind of time is flying. When I filmed it that night, and it was 49 minutes, and had plans for this to be the first taping of many in a bigger project that still might be the goal. And then our friend Matt Perry filmed it and had to edit it for me. And like every year since then, I would revisit and be like, I think it's time to put the special out, bro. Let's do this. Let's put it out. And then finally in 2023, that conversation took and lasted a little bit longer than the others. And he sent me the 49 minutes and I was just like, some of this is cringe and I got to cut it out because it just didn't age or it's just not what I wanted. And I ended up cutting a big chunk of the ending just because I don't think the live audience was really responding to it. And I don't think that 4 years later that those jokes still were relevant and made a lot of sense. So it was like,
there's a lot of looking forward to 2020. You're like, 2020 is going to be the greatest year ever. Like, I'm going to travel.
Yeah. Yeah. It was all naive pre-pandemic material. Looking forward to the 2020 election. I'm sure there's going to be no disagreement on who won.
Yeah, at least we can just get it done and never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Can't wait to touch some people's faces.
Yeah. Peaceful transfer of power. But yeah, and then you get into this spot of I could put out a 45-minute special or I could put out like a closer to 35-minute special. And it's like, nobody's going to book me to do a 45-minute set. So might as well just trim it down to the actual strongest piece of art.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. Thanks for asking, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I always love the
you
kind of nuts and bolts of stuff.
You could still, I'm sure with that 36-minute video, you could still probably get middle spots or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, and you won't be that dirty comedian before the main comedian.
I won't.
Not with that attitude.
2 F-bombs. I'll get 2 F-bombs like a PG-13 movie.
Yeah. So where were we at then? Andy, I don't know what we should talk. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, talk.
Andy? Yeah, Andy's over here for me, so I don't know.
I'm over there for me.
Brian's right here for me. I don't know. What do you, so Andy wrote Butcher Stories. Did you get to see that, Vince? The Butcher Stories one-man show?
We're even.
Never seen it live. Never seen it. No.
Andy, do you have video of that?
Yeah, there's clips of it on my YouTube. I could send you a full thing, but my God, don't do that. Like,
I don't know. I think you should have it out there, man. It was really good. But are you working on anything else? Have you?
Not really. I'm in a bit of a dry spell creatively. I don't know. Those moments you get where you're like, yes, I used to be able to come up with ideas.
You still do. We were sitting there, Vince, we hung out at another friend of mine's pool and we were writing joke ideas. He had a bunch of good ideas that I still have to go back and edit.
Like your personal Chat GPT.
Yes.
So you're like, 1 in 5 isn't very funny.
I was like, I don't need Andy anymore. I got Chat GPTs, but
I've been outsourced.
yeah.
I have a good technical question, Andy.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I know, and I'm sure the listeners know, that you are a very talented improviser, one of the best around. Definitely in the Charleston scene as well. And then going from improvised comedy to the more scripted one-man shows like Butcher Stories, and this Christmas will not be televised.
Will be televised.
This will be televised. How do you use your improv, like that balance between scripted and improv when you're creating these scripts and these one-man shows and these productions? What does that look like? Because you're used to it lives and dies in the moment on stage, and then we never really think about it again.
Sure. What's nice is since I work solo, I don't do a lot of sketch comedy with a group or an ensemble, is once the script is done, then I just go back to improvising. Because as long as I hit my cue lines for the tech guy, every time I do the show, I'm recording it, and then you add like, oh, that line really worked. And that, so in theory, the show in 10 years will be another 20 minutes longer.
Sure.
But yeah, no, it's definitely, it helps to be able to know how to sell stuff. Because that's the thing with improv. It's, oh, I can just turn it up a little bit and be able to go. So it's nice to be able to have that in my back pocket. But I like the scripted stuff because I don't know, I get excited knowing like what's coming next. Ooh, you guys are gonna really like, you guys probably relate with doing the stand-up. So there's moments I really love of, ooh, this is coming up. I can't wait to
yeah.
And then no reaction. I'm like, okay, cool.
That wasn't supposed to be funny.
That was the coolest thing about the first time I did it, was like there was stuff that I didn't realize were jokes that got laughs. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's a joke. I didn't realize it.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
I
And then
was gonna say, you retired that, right? I really think you should unretire it. Just maybe you got tired of doing it, but it's just an every year thing, man. And
Yeah, so it ran for 10 years. So we're talking about my Christmas show, which by the way is in its entirety up online. Yeah, I did it for 10 years and it just felt like the pop culture references weren't quite pop anymore. And like it needed a rewrite. And I just wasn't, I'm like, I feel like I've made my statement on Christmas. I just wasn't motivated to do anything else. So I think at some point I'll probably put it back up just to prove that I can do it still, because it's a pretty physical show. But yeah, I don't think it's done, but it's definitely done for a while.
yeah. And is this proving it to yourself or to all the haters out there?
I think proving it to me, just because what was funny about that show is like it is a lot more physical. Is you could tell where I was at in my fitness or lack thereof was like, there's ones I'd get off stage and then there'd be some years that I'm like, great. I'm like, oh, cool. You could track how healthy I was being.
Yeah.
But now if I did it now, it would probably kill me.
I know that you also have been doing a lot more animation and like short film. And just talk about that process of going from the live audience to the editing bay for hours and hours.
Yeah, so that just came out of the pandemic. Like I initially, before I even started doing improv, that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to make movies and stuff. But then pre-internet, when you tell your guidance counselor, I want to make movies, they just stare at you blankly. They're like, So no one, like, I didn't know what to do to learn how to do that. And then so I ended up doing improv, loving that. And then the pandemic came around and it's, oh, I know how to do this stuff. So it was just a learning curve. It's cool to watch, like if you go back and watch everything in order, you can see this was me learning how to edit. And then I start doing a little special effects. And then it's, oh, this is clearly a dude learning After Effects.
Yeah.
And then eventually I think I could maybe do animation, says the guy that can't draw his way out of a paper bag.
But you can, man. Oh my God. Like some of the stuff, remember where you're over that one time and you were doing some stuff while we were hanging out, man. I can't remember. There was one that was particularly genius. I wish I could remember what it is. You just have a very absurd and weird imagination when it comes to that.
Yeah, I do like being a lot of that comes from not being able to draw, or it's I can't really draw hands. What if he had claws?
Yeah. Right. That's why I do abstract art. I can't have no.
Yeah, it was like I'm really having a hard time with mouths.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice. What are you working on right now, Brian?
Shit, I'm writing a book. This is so funny. I've got a keynote gig in November for the RV Dealers Association, and they wanted to buy some of my books, and I'm like, none of my books are up to date or relevant to anything because they're all like about Facebook or whatever.
You got to do a find and replace on Twitter and just change it to X.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I think my forthcoming book, my new book, is going to be best for this. And I had not even conceived what it was or anything. I'm like, yeah, it'll be out in October. And Wells Fargo is a sponsor. They bought $2,500 worth of books that don't exist already.
That's legit, or is that a thing you just told them?
That's legit. So that's why I've been trying to write a book. And I've been like, that's another GPT thing, man. It's helped me edit and come up with ideas and even reorganize my chapters and then come up with better chapter names. So that's been really interesting. I even experimented. I was like, rewrite this chapter as Malcolm Gladwell. And it did. And I was like, I don't like that style, but it's funny because I was like, his writing style is way too academic for me. But yeah, so that thing's up to 60,000 pages now. And I actually just put out, I'm trying to find pages, words.
I was like, hey man, I think you got it. Hit print.
That's some L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh, you can stop.
Yeah.
War and Peace.
It's my, what do they call it? My manifesto.
I assume it's like your other work where it's business related.
It's called the retention formula, and it's about how companies can retain more workers, make them happy. And it's particularly focused on generational issues. So it's written for Gen X and boomers who are trying to deal with millennials and Gen Z. And it's really hard on the reader because I literally said at one point, who this book is not for. One of the things I said was, if you want everybody in your workplace to look and think you do, this book is not for you. In fact, you should probably read Mein Kampf.
See, I love that.
Yeah, that's probably the most controversial thing I said in the book, but it's about generation.
Marco is going to love that.
They're not even going to know it's in there. They're not even going to know. But it's going to be big enough. Like one of my goals was I wanted to be like a book where if you slap it down on the table, it's impressive. Because I wrote this one not too long ago. Leads are good, sales are better, but it's tiny. And it's
slap it on the table. Let's give it a hear.
Yeah,
listen, slap it.
No, you didn't hear that?
Oh, nothing.
No.
Bro.
This is when I got real nerdy about comedy, the way we think, conceptual blending and the mind's hidden complexities.
I think Zoom is filtering out these slaps, but
I think we just realized how fancy Zoom is.
Just a much healthier slap.
That's your book? You wrote a book about comedy?
About what? No, this is a book. I think it's the one that introduced me to bisociation. I didn't even read this whole thing. It is so dense.
Wait, Didn't you write it?
No, not that one. That's just I show the difference between a tiny book and a.
Oh, I thought you were saying I wrote this other one. You're like, I never read it. I was like, what? Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
I'm saying I wrote this one and it's too small.
Gotcha.
And does Linda know that you've been dabbling in bisociation?
That's funny. Right now, all the bisociation is in my head. I haven't
acted on it.
Introduced it into the world.
I gotta wait for college to experiment with bisociation.
Yeah.
And that was that was another GPT thing. I was like, use bisociation to come up with some jokes. And it was like, bisociation is unrelated things. I was like, what would it be if it was like the opposite of the other thing? And it was like, we would call that antithetical bisociation. Okay. We're using antithetical bisociation, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
How many books have you written, Brian?
It's a good question. Somewhere between 6 and 10.
Nice.
I've lost count.
That's also my answer to the question, how many books have you read? Somewhere between 6 and 10. I can't really give you an accurate amount.
Yeah, I'll finish that Catcher in the Rye one day.
Yeah, dude. Old Caulfield. I remember that. I remember that one.
It's funny is I have never read that. I feel like it was supposed to be assigned to me in high school, and
it's so good.
Yeah, no one ever it was. There's like a few of those where I'm like, why? This is everybody talks about how it's required reading in high school. I never was assigned Catcher in the Rye.
It's really worth it, and so is Catch 22. It's
another one. Yeah, I don't think I've ever read it.
Nope.
It's tough, man. In a universe full of TikToks, it's hard to sit down and give all that time to one book.
I do a lot more audiobooks.
Linda likes that too.
Yeah. I like to be read too.
Let's talk about reading. That's a fascinating podcast topic.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about reading? I was going to bring up, Vince, did you know about, so Andy's education was like basically film. And he helped me come up with a funny video for a keynote American Banking Association one time.
No, tell the story.
Yeah, and if you want, I'll see if I can find it and we can play it here.
There I was.
So it's funny. Yeah, so Andy and I got together and we brainstormed it, but his brain is so visual. He knew exactly what every shot should be from what angle. It was all like, these are the shots. I don't remember our full process for writing it, but that is one of his particular geniuses, is just being able to come up with that, like an outline and the shots and everything. And it was funny. Let me see if I can find it. You guys talk amongst yourselves and I'll see if I can find it.
Like how this podcast is just going to turn into just self-flating. You're great, Vince, and Brian's awesome. And you guys are great.
Well, I do think we
Three middle-aged dudes just like trying to talk each other up.
Yeah, it's funny.
Keep going. Keep going.
But we're going to have other people on. We should have Jeremy and Sam and Dusty. I don't know what he's up to. We should have some other people on just to chat.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Anybody with a Zoom account.
Yeah, that's our barrier.
Oh, you know what? We're doing a lot of Chat GPT work on this podcast. We should also dabble in some chat roulette.
What's chat roulette?
That's how we book our guests.
That's how we book our guests, through chat
It's just a
roulette.
bunch of
I don't even know what that
dudes
is.
jerking off.
Is that like Tinder for chat? What is it?
No, it's basically like you just hit go and then it'll pair you with someone else on the internet.
Imagine
on
like a
chat
random
roulette.
Zoom call with one other person.
Weird.
And it is
Yeah.
just a lot of dudes jerking it.
Like literally?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You know, gross to you. It's not to them. And I don't think we should judge.
My favorite video of that was they were like, oh, guy jerking off. And they just kept hitting next. And there was like a guy saying like, finally. And then he stands up and starts jerking.
That is horrible. So much for
We
our
should book some
podcast.
We're just doing a commentary on some dude jerking it.
Yeah.
I guess we can invite that guy. Yeah. Maybe not.
So who are your biggest influences?
Who are you talking to?
He's like Kierkegaard as he's just going.
What do you think about the use of ethical AI?
That's a very funny video idea. Like just trying to, no, you can keep doing what you're doing. But just answer my
We're just gonna
questions.
chat.
Yeah, just answer my questions while you're doing it.
Describe a typical day in your life. What do you eat for breakfast?
Do you think you're into more Jungian psychology or Freudian? Because he's just going.
You ever bisociate, bro? You ever get into bisociation?
The fraternity guys bisociating.
Yeah, man.
Jesus, I have a lot of videos. This is not going to be, I'm going to have to play this on a future podcast.
Well, just set the scene. So you said you were doing this American
Yeah.
baking.
Banking. Did you say baking? Banking.
I heard baking, like baked goods, but you said banking.
That would be amazing. The baking. Oh, that would be the best conference to go to. I would need a lot of Tums. But anyway,
Pile of pastries.
banking association. So it was a couple things. I did a keynote for them and I also emceed for them and came up with some custom humor. And speaking of some jokes working, some not. Ouch, trying to debut like 10 minutes of new stuff. Did not all work. But the video, people laughed at the video. And I was telling Andy recently, I wish I had filmed that so he could hear the laughter at the video. But it was essentially, the idea was, what if I had a closer relationship with my bank and we were like friends, and
It's more than that. It's like parents. It's what if you like hear your family.
yeah.
So it's, hey, everybody else lets me take out these loans. I'm not everyone else's bank, Brian. Like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Like, you realize how long I've been waiting up for you? Like just that I'm dressed in a suit and he just constantly, I'm washing his mouth out with soap at one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It was.
You were a collaborator, it sounds like, at every step, Andy. You were in it. You helped write it. You probably put some...
Threw it together in an afternoon.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We should do more of that shit.
People like videos. They do.
People like them videos. Oh, did I tell you about Twitch?
I saw your email.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's mostly for gamers, but they do have people on there who just chat. So it's like live chat, and then we could be on there as well as there's a little chat window where people are texting and stuff. But of course, we probably have to do something that makes sense to gamers. I don't know if you guys are, I'm not that into video. The only video game I've played in the last 5 years is Red Dead Redemption.
Like me, the game I just finished came out in 2017. I'm not current.
We should do the middle-aged gaming channel. Just dudes that play old games, playing television games.
Or it's just us doing it and not being very good at it. That's more, man. Tried to play something called Rocket League with my nephew. Got my ass kicked.
Dude, I was about to say, I play Rocket League. That's like the only video game I play.
It was so bad. My nephew was kicking my butt.
It's so fun.
That could be a fun concept if we did actually game and just make jokes while we do it.
Yeah. There's a lot of content everywhere, but Rocket League TikTok is very funny. There's a lot of great TikTok recaps of just goofy fails on Rocket League and the culture, the subculture of Rocket League. It makes me laugh very hard.
So it's a car game?
It's a car game. It's like car soccer. You play
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
That's hilarious.
Demolition Derby car soccer. It is really fun.
Yeah, maybe I can play that with got my new big brother, big sister, little dude named Dayton.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Do you really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I got matched. I don't know if I'm going to hang out with him tomorrow or maybe next Saturday. So I was having to look up where are the parks?
Have you done that before?
Huh?
Have you done that before? Or is this your first time?
It'll be the first time hanging out with him.
Have you done Big Brother, Big Sister before?
No, this is totally
cool.
new.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
how old's your little dude?
9-year-old
Nice.
African American kid. He likes basketball, soccer. Unfortunately, his favorite basketball player is John Morant, the dude that can't drive a car without making a video of him having a gun.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's gotten in massive trouble. He's just kind of a immature punk and not the best role model for this kid. So I'm going to try and work on that.
He's brandished a piece on a couple IG lives. He got in trouble for it, served his suspension, then did it again.
There's a lot more to basketball nowadays than I was aware of.
Yeah, this is a dude super talented and probably he's making more than $100 million and stuff. He's just unfortunately very young.
He's a very talented basketball player.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah. Okay, guys, maybe we want to wind it down for our first podcast. We want to do anything to wrap up?
Yeah, let's bring in the Chat GPT.
You want to actually talk to it? You want to talk to it a little bit?
We haven't chatted with it at all.
Oh, okay. Wait. So let's do that. And it already knows who we are. So let me say hi. You're on the podcast right now.
I read very slow, so I volunteer not to read.
Hi, okay. It says you're on the podcast right now. Welcome to Lifeness. We're thrilled to have you here with us today.
Great. In one move, AI has taken over our podcast.
No, GPT.
I'm the host now.
Guest.
Please just let it be our guest today is me.
I got it.
Now it's giving you a script.
Okay, let's see what I'm supposed to say. Folks, we have a surprise for you today. We got a special guest joining us on the podcast. It's none other than Chat GPT. Chat GPT, welcome to Lifeness. We're excited to have you here. Say hello to our listeners. Chat GPT says, hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be part of the Lifeness podcast today. Let's have some fun and dive into some great conversations.
Too controversial.
Yeah.
Bleep that.
Yeah. Canceled.
Okay, stop scripting.
And just answer our questions.
Should we ask it a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's ask it.
Exciting things have you been up to?
I knew it was going to. As an AI language model, I don't have personal experiences.
Or do things the way humans do. However, I'm here to assist you. Blah blah blah. Okay. Let's give it a question as a guest.
Question as a guest. Chat GPT. Vince Faber here.
Great. Now our future overlords know your name.
Just curious if you have any advice for a podcast starting out.
Oh,
Sure,
geez.
this will be a laugh riot.
Yeah.
Oh man, like, he comes alive.
Yes, it's very good at this. Define your niche. Quality audio, plan your content, engaging hosting. Consistency is key. Promotion and marketing, engage with your audience, learn from analytics, editing, production, patience, and persistence. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't done any of that.
No.
Andy, you got a question?
What are, I don't know, what are fun segments you could do on a comedy podcast?
Hey, Vince. Oh, that shit still thinks you're Vince. Funny news of the week, listener comedy challenges, comedy sketches, guest interview with a twist, comedy roast, comedy debate, story time with a twist, comedy reviews, impersonation showdown, and comedy.
Wait, I want to see what some of these like. What does Chat GPT refer to as those twists? Have guests in your show and play games or engage in comedic challenges with them. It could be something like rapid fire joke off or an improv game.
Yeah.
How is that a twist?
There's no twist.
Chat GPT suggesting us to go to chat roulette, it sounds like, with these joke offs here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of guys joking off.
Well, there's the new title.
Joking off.
Joking off.
Welcome to Lifeness, joking off.
Yeah.
Comedy song parodies.
Say something absurd as a podcast guest. I once tried to teach my pet goldfish how to do stand-up comedy, but it turns out they had terrible timing. Every time I got to the punchline, they just blub, blub, blub. So I guess they were more of a sit-down comedian.
Ask it, are you implying that fish can sit?
Ah, fair point. I guess in the fish world, sitting would be quite the accomplishment. Let's just say my pet goldfish had a unique comedic style. They were more of a float and tell comedian.
Smiley face emoji. All right, Chat GPT.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, you want to see? Let me show you real quick some of my Roy-ventions.
Yep.
I don't know if you know this, Vince. I have a character named Roy who's a redneck, and I've done a bunch of improv and jokes as him before. But one of the things I thought was funny was he came up with this thing called the chaircopter. It's like chaircopter. It's a helicopter and a chair made out of lazy boy. It doesn't fly, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I trained Chat GPT to come up with more inventions like that. And the ones that I thought were somewhat funny, I recorded here today so you could see some of them.
Dude, let's hear it.
All right.
Hi, I'm Roy. I like to invent stuff. I want to tell you about some of my new inventions, all right? No pantry. My shelf helmet creates usable storage space on your head. People keep reaching for snacks up there. I got Cheetos in my hair. Allergic to pollen? My flower sniffer vacuums the air around each one of your flowers. Now the bees are missing. Want to exercise some more? My doorway dumbbells require you to lift weights to enter any room. I'm still in the hallway. Sick of stairs? My human cannon will rocket you to any floor. Helmet not included. Bad at cooking? My food faker disguises cardboard as gourmet meals. Now my poop is corrugated. Hate mowing? Just use Grass Be Gone. It's a flamethrower for your lawn. Bonus. Met a lot of firemen. Like the calendar. Not enough bathrooms in your house? My porta pocket is a toilet you can carry in your pants. China kitchen? My cabinet cannon launches skillets at your face. Catch. These next ones are for realtors. My prices scaring home buyers.
All right.
Like these next ones are for realtors.
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of different topics. I got a realtor keynote coming up, so I was wondering if I could create a video for them. But
Dude, nice work, Chat GPT and Roy.
Introducing the housing bubble.
housing bubble. Yeah, I don't know how funny those are. I've got to work on the delivery. I think I'm going too fast, but there's some potential in there. Oh, last thing I want to show you is I had it write an Onion article about employee retention. And so it says local company unveils a revolutionary employee retention program. Manager changes office layout daily, hides exit behind wall of illusion.
Pretty good.
It's basically like a funhouse maze. I come in at 4 a.m. every morning to move the cubicles around. It's like a daily team building exercise, but involuntary. The funny part, which I was referring to when I said it occasionally has a moment of brilliance. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Account manager Sarah Michael said, I followed what I thought was an exit sign, but it led me to a room full of rubber duckies and a single note that said, quack, you're trapped.
So absurd.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. I think, not to be glib, but it's crazy what this AI can do. You know?
Oh, it's insane and terrifying and interesting all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking forward to exploring that with you guys.
Yeah.
And also, and just stroking each other's egos again.
Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
yeah, the opening segment is just mutual masturbation. It is like chat roulette.
Chat roulette, dude. Joking off.
Next
We're just-
episode,
yeah, we're joking off.
next episode, we're going to go the opposite. We're going to talk about what's wrong with each other.
I'm okay.
Or we're just all going to be real simple. We're like, nah, I suck. You guys are great. Nah, I suck.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I could use a little bit of be taken down a peg.
Oh, I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
Finally, I like pull out a thing the size of his second book.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
keeping this notes for you,
60,000
Vince. It's
pages.
60,000 pages.
Listen to this slap of this notebook.
That's right. Callbacks. All right, guys, this is good. I think we did a really good first podcast, and I'm excited to do more.
Word.
Transcribe it, put it in the Chat GPT, get some feedback. That's
Oh. You need to get
Transcribe
rid
it. Have Chat GPT make it better, then we'll read that.
of, yes, we'll read that. It's going to say, you need to get rid of that Andy guy. He's
Now it'll still think it's Vince. Like,
yeah, that's right. Now it's going to forever refer to me as Vince.
Dude, Andy, you mean the butcher of comedy, dude?
The
yeah, what a, that's
a
like they used to
backhanded
call Lee Lewis the
right there.
doctor of improv, and like the butcher of improv has a different connotation, but also fairly accurate.
Let's end with something. Let's just wish each other
Happy Rosh Hashanah tomorrow, y'all.
Happy Rosh Hashanah tomorrow. I hope your lifeness is full of greatness.
Yes.
Happiness.
Hey, I hope if you're joking off that people don't freak out and click away.
Yeah, dude.
I hope someone else builds you up as much as you guys built me up today.
Thank you, bro.
All right, guys. Great podcast. See you next time.
Word.
Sure.